Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USBTO, từ thêm, từ chơi cao, logistics và warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.
All right, guys, we're back for part 2 in a series where I do a deep dive into search volume and how the Amazon algorithm calculates it, search query performance, brand analytics, and much more. You're going to learn some things that are going to knock your socks off. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Are you an agency, enterprise level seller, or an 8 or 9-figure seller and need advanced analytics? Market Tracker 360 might be the product for you. To get a demo of Market Tracker 360, go to h10.me/MT360. That's h10.me/MT360. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And now this is our second in a 2-part series where I'm showing you some case studies that I've been working on for the last month, where I'm trying to figure out what is search query performance taking into consideration? What is brand analytics in Amazon taking into consideration? You know, for those of you who are newer sellers, don't tune out if some of this is kind of like foreign to you. This is important stuff that you guys need to be using. So even if you're not ready for it now, bookmark this and listen to it now, and then come back once you're ready, because this is important stuff that's going to help you level up on Amazon. Now, first of all, I said this before earlier in the podcast that Amazon really has stepped up with showing additional kind of like documentation as far as what search query performance is taken into consideration. And the reason why this is important is because the numbers were looking like way off. All right. For example, I took a look at 6 different brands, about 25 different products. And what I was doing was I was like adding up what it said, how many sales my product got or a brand got from searches, right? And, you know, like knowing that, hey, probably like half, you know, more than half of my sales come from search. Like I just know that because I'm not sending outside traffic. You know, there's nobody on TikTok promoting our coffin shelves and things. Like most of our, orders come from search, whether it's PPC or organic. But it was crazy. On average, only 17 to like 25% of what search query performance sales would say, it was only like 17 to 25% of what my actual sales were. Like, for example, for a coffin shelf, it was saying it only attributed 94 sales in a month to search in search query performance. But I looked at my sales data. We sold 531 coffin shelves for that same exact month. All right, that's a 17% only search query performance was showing. I mean, heck, for PPC by itself, just the keyword coffin shelf, forget all the other PPC, just the keyword coffin shelf brought over 100 sales to the products. But search query performance was saying for every single keyword out there, we only had like 94 sales. So I was like, wait a minute. And I think you guys probably have seen this. You're like, wait a minute, what in the world? Why is it so different? And it's not necessarily to say that it's wrong, right? It's not to say that it's wrong, but is showing something different than what you're expecting. And before you had no idea, but now Amazon has gone to the next level and really made sure they had some good documentation. So take a look at this if you haven't seen it yet. Amazon's documentation, for example, for impressions, it says, when an ASIN is displayed for a query, it means it received 1 impression. All right, so I search for a keyword and then my product is organically showing up there. That's 1 impression. Now check this out. It includes both organic and sponsored products. All right, so like, theoretically speaking, I search for a keyword, and if I'm on page 1 in organic and sponsored products, I have 2 impressions, right? But take a look at this. It says it excludes ASINs displayed in a widget, such as editorial recommendations, top rated, and highly rated. So those are sponsored product positions, but they are not counted as impressions, and thus anything that is also counted there is not counted as sales. It says it includes product displayed to the customers irrespective of whether the product is in the scrollable view or below the fold. That basically means, like, let's say I land on a page, I don't scroll at all, but my product is at the bottom of the page, right? Even though the customer never sees it, it is still counted as an impression, all right? It also includes ASINs from pages rendered to the customer and not the secondary pages that did not get views. For example, it says, hey, if there's a product in the search results and it's on page 10, but I never scroll to page 10, I am not going to get an impression there, all right? But it's counted. The interesting thing, it says if it's rendered in the second page for the query, then it will be included. So that's kind of weird. So that almost leads me to believe that, okay, maybe it's not on page 10, which it literally says right there. But does that mean if I am on page 1 and I have an organic position there and I have a sponsored position on page 2, it seems like it's saying, even though the customer doesn't scroll to page 2, it's counting that as an impression. So that's kind of weird. I'm not sure, 100% sure on that, but that's what the documentation says. It also says it includes counts from refinement. So like, let's say you type in coffin shelf, and then the customer sees the search results, and then they hit like, show me only the black ones, you know those filters on the left-hand side. They hit black, right? And now all of a sudden it filters out everything that's not black. That's another impression. Even though they haven't even gone to any other pages or they haven't refreshed a page or anything like that, that counts as another impression. So now you can start to kind of see like, whoa, it's not necessarily over counting the search volume. Remember in the last episode I was talking about how, or the last time I was talking about how the search volume seems like inflated. It's because, these are all counting multiple times for all of these different scenarios. Now, as far as the documentation of what it counts as purchases, here again, Amazon's stepping up and is telling us, it says, hey, it only counts when the purchase action happened for the query. All right. So if you purchase 5 of the same ASIN, that's only a single purchase. It also says it includes purchases that occurred in a day. All right. So for example, if somebody makes a search, all of these things like impressions and clicks and add to carts and purchases, it has to have appeared within the 24-hour period. All right. So like, for example, a scenario of why, again, this is why the purchases is so low, right? Compared to the overall purchases that we know come from these keywords. So for example, let's say I search coffin shelf. I click the product immediately. It's going to count as a click. I add it to my cart immediately after that. It's going to count in search query performance as an add to cart, but I leave it in the cart. And then the next day I go in and I go ahead and check out and pay for it. I don't get credit in search query performance for that purchase. Secondly, let's say I click a different product the way, and I'm going to explain how this works, how I was able to figure this out. If I click a different product and then I click back, it seems like Amazon is not counting that as a purchase. Like if I click back and then click another product and buy it, for whatever reason, Amazon is not counting that in search query performance. Another scenario that doesn't work. Like let's say I click on a sponsored ad. All right. That counts as a click. And if I buy it right in that time period, that's actually an order, or that's actually a order that is attributed in search query performance. But let's say I click on a product and then I click like a sponsored ad on that page. Now, theoretically, that click still happened after a search. I typed in coffin shelf, right? I typed in coffin shelf. I clicked on a product and I'm just clicking another product that I see on the page, whether it's frequently bought together or whether it's Amazon recommended or whether it's some kind of product targeting ad. But if I purchase anything after clicking on a product that's not that product, Amazon search query performance does not count it. All right. So that's the reason why the number is so small. Like I said, sometimes set as low as 17% is because it kind of like only counts kind of, I don't know, I'm going to make up a word, but another reason why it's not counting so many is because it's kind of like counting only, I don't know, real-time purchases, as it were. Like I have to click on something and then buy it, and then it's counted. All right. So like if I start clicking around or clicking back on my browser, now all of a sudden it's not going to be attributed as it works right now. So what I did for a case study, and I did multiple ones. I'm just going to talk about one of them that we did right here. But what I did was I was like, all right, let me get a group of people together. Let me first find a keyword that I know I can control a little bit. All right. So like I wasn't going to do coffin shelf where, you know, there's tons and tons of people searching for it, tons of people clicking it and adding to the cart and purchasing it. I'm going to pick a lower keyword that I know that almost all of the activity around it is going to be what me and like my team are doing. You know, we're the ones doing the clicks and we're doing the add to carts. And then I came up with all these kind of like different scenarios about like, hey, click this first and click on the highly rated and click back on your browser and then add it to cart and then purchase it the next day. Like I did like so many scenarios. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of our chart, but we were like going day by day and different ones of us were doing different clicks and doing different things in PPC, and we were logging it all. And then the point of this was I wanted to see how Amazon analytical tools displayed what was going on. I wanted to see how it looked in brand analytics on the daily report. Did it pick up my clicks? Did it pick up my purchases? How it looked in the brand analytics weekly report, how it looked in the search query performance weekly report, how it showed up in Amazon PPC. You know, using Atomic, you know, did it understand that it was a sponsored ad that, got this click, et cetera, et cetera. So I was trying to test as much as possible. So let's go ahead and talk about what were some of the results. So for example, on January 1st, all right, I personally, did some of these tests. So my part of this, again, I had a whole team of people who was working on this. What I personally did was I clicked on the product in the search results and then I purchased it, all right? And then a few hours later, I did the same search again, and then I clicked a different product. Now, a couple days later, I looked back at brand analytics, and it told me that on that date, 1/1/2023, there was one product that had 50% of the clicks, and another product, which was my product, that had 50% of the clicks, and I had 100% of the conversion. So obviously, there was only one order that day, or there was only one sale that day, and it was me. So brand analytics got this right. But here's what's interesting. It basically seems like it only had maybe two clicks on it. But this product here that said was the other one that was clicked, this was not the product that I clicked on. All right, this was not the product that I clicked on. So Amazon did not pick up this click. So this is part of the reason why brand analytics isn't my favorite child anymore. I had no idea that it wasn't picking up on clicks. Back in the day, like a year and a half ago when I would test this, it would pick up every single click, right? So now it's like super normalized. It seems like more than before and definitely different than search query performance. So that was kind of interesting. Now, the next thing I did, I did a full week, my team was doing all kinds of testing, like I said, clicking on sponsored products and stuff. So the next thing at the end of the week, I looked at the weekly brand analytics to take a look at what was going on. Now, as you can see here, it says that our product, this coffin egg tray, we got 87.5% of the clicks and 100% of the conversions. But this spoon, this like blood-shaped spoon, it said it had 12.5% of the clicks. Now the thing that was troubling, again, we clicked on different products, all right? But brand analytics did not pick up on it, unfortunately. So that's a little bit, troublesome. Now, looking at search query performance for the same week, that was the other thing I did. I did all these tests and I did all these like clicks and sponsored ads and stuff. And now I want to see, I saw how brand analytics displayed it. How did search query performance display this data? All right. So I looked at search query performance for the same exact week. And then for this keyword, which by the way, guys, I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's spooky kitchen was the keyword that I used. It actually, this is quite kind of like interesting here. All right. Do you remember how in brand analytics, it said I had 87.5% of the clicks. And I'm like, that can't be right because I know I have other products I clicked on. Well, look, for the same exact week, the same exact days, look what search query performance says. It says I had 14% of the clicks. All right. That's a huge difference, guys. You can see how much more search query performance is picking up on clicks compared to brand analytics. 14% compared to 87%, that is like not even comparable. That is huge, huge difference. Now, just really quick, one thing, now that we're looking at this search query performance, I wanted to call out, this is something that you can start doing on your own. This is interesting, all right? It says here, search query volume was 336 for the week. That means supposedly 336 times people searched it or clicked back on their browser, et cetera, et cetera. Now, look at my impressions, all right? This is called ASIN count. My impressions was 310, meaning on average, I was there every single time somebody clicked back or whatever, our product showed up. All right. Now compare that to like Gothic Kitchen, where it had 3,000 searches, but I only had 431 impressions. All right. Meaning only like 10% of the time that a search was done, I even showed up to the customer. Now, this is very interesting data that Amazon has never shown before. But the problem here is,
anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon. Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USBTO, từ thêm, từ cho dầu cao, logistics và warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.
Without Helium-10, you might not have the context, right? So like, wait, why is one number on a one-to-one basis almost impressions for or searches, and then my impressions, and the other one was like 10 to 1. Well, now this is where you can start going into Helium-10 and kind of like reverse engineer what happened. So now I'm showing you guys keyword tracker. And if I look at Spooky Kitchen, right, look at my organic rank, page 1, position 1, 2, and 3. Look at my sponsored rank, page 1, position 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now it makes sense. Well, no wonder why every single time there was a search for this keyword, I got an impression because I am right there at the top of the page. I was probably getting 2 impressions for a lot of these. Now, take a look at Gothic Kitchen. Remember the one that was kind of like 10 to 1? Like there was 10 searches for only every 1 impression I had. I'm right here in Keyword Tracker and I'm looking. My organic rank is position 70. All right. So now I know, wait a minute. The only people that I were getting impressions from was people who were like scrolling to page 3 or page 2. But my sponsored rank, I was on page 1. But, it looks like not always I was on page 1. Like right now I'm on page 2. So this is why it's so important to kind of like, put both of these data points together, is because now I can see that, hey, I get this information from Search Query Performance about how many times I'm showing up, but to really understand what's going on and what needs to improve, that's where I need like the Helium-10 data or the keyword tracker data. And I'm sure other tools have keyword trackers too. You can look at that same data. All right, now going back to my case study. Remember, I wasn't just comparing it to brand analytics and search query performance. I wanted to compare it to what PPC advertising reports were saying, because I was doing a lot of sponsored ads and I was having my team click on sponsored ads and do add to carts from there as well. And now for the most part, the PPC data lined up. We were doing product targeting. The clicks, were attributed correctly. Now the interesting thing, and this is almost a philosophical discussion itself, was as the week went on, I was actually getting more product targeting clicks. The product targeting ad being where I'm targeting a certain competitor ASIN so that I show up on their page, somewhere on there, right? Now, I started getting more product targeting clicks that I know was happening, all right? So this is my my theory on this. So when you do a product targeting ad, yes, like principally you would think that it shows up on the actual product. Like here's one that we are product targeting with our coffin tray. It's this coffin bar mat. What are they going to think of next, right? And if I scroll down here and then right here, products related to this item, look, our coffin egg tray is right there. So that's one of the things that our team did, was that they clicked this from the page. But then as the week went on, we were getting an abnormally high number of product targeting clicks instead of just my keyword targeting ones. So what could be happening is, because remember, once I landed on this page, this ad is going to kind of like follow me around Amazon. All right. So like, for example, if the next day, let's say like the next day, and remember, some of my team was doing this every other day. Well, if they were going to type in Spooky Kitchen, in the search results, the sponsored ad is coming. Some of those might have been my product targeting ad that's now following me around, and it wasn't my sponsored keyword ad. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is important to understand. The way that Amazon PPC works is that I'm not just going to get clicks only if somebody clicks on my listing on this page. And this is important to understand because it helps you to kind of like work your strategy out, is because you want people who click on your other products or on your competitors' products to kind of like be cookied by Amazon, and so that your ad now follows them around. All right. So we got all these other clicks because probably other people, had clicked on a competitor's product, and then they saw our ad, and then now maybe they saw it in another search, like later on for even another keyword. So product targeting ads are really great. Anyways, that's kind of like I'm kind of digressing here on that, but I thought that was a really interesting kind of like in action, seeing how Amazon PPC works. Now, again, going back to search query performance, it was really, really good for the full week. It had almost all of the clicks that I know I made. It was like, I think we had done 11 clicks, and search query performance said there was 12. So it was like right there. That one click might have been from somebody else, or maybe a click that I didn't, mark. So it was like right there. Even the add to carts, like we did some add to carts, and then, we didn't purchase it, we just add to cart. We wanted to see if search query performance picked it up. Sure enough, search query performance picked almost all of them up. Now, the interesting thing is that week I actually purchased 3 units. Search query performance said only 1 unit was purchased. And again, so it was because I did multiple clicks on those other purchases that kind of like nullify search query performance counting it. All right. So again, do not think that the number that search query performance says is your sales for certain keywords, that is 100% of your sales. It's only like 20 to 25%. Now, the next week, I did it again for another week because I was like, I wanted to like kind of like hone in on my tests a little bit more to kind of work on some of my theories. And so we did it again. I had a group of people, even Carrie and Shivali and Mel and Nico, they were all working on it, and they were doing different clicks and different things. And again, it was very similar. Search query performance was picking up the clicks. Brand analytics wasn't. And another way that you know that brand analytics is different, again, I'm not trying to say one is right and one is wrong. They're just apples and oranges, but was that in brand analytics for the week, it said that my product had 50% of the sales and another product had 50%, meaning that the total number of sales attributed to that keyword in brand analytics for that week had to have been an even number. Does that make sense? That number could be 2, it could be 10, it could be 8. It can't be 7, right? Because it wouldn't have come out to a whole number. If two products made up 100% of the sales and there's only 2 of them, it has to be an even number. In search query performance for the week, the total number of sales that it says was generated from Spooky Kitchen was 5. So again, this is like 100% confirmation. If you didn't believe it yet, brand analytics and search query performance definitely is apples and oranges. It's not talking about the same thing. You can literally not have 50% of 5 sales. I didn't split one coffin shelf or coffin egg tray in half and send one to one customer and one to another customer. Now, again, brand analytics only showed 2 different products for the entire week getting clicks, one of them being mine. This was super disappointing to me. It means that for some of these lower searched keywords, brand analytics just, for whatever strange reason, just doesn't count clicks anymore, right? And so you're not going to get a lot of information. Now, if you actually look inside of search query performance, there's this new feature that's called search query details. The way you can get here is if you're on the regular search query performance page and you click on any keyword under search query, right? And it brings up this new page and gives you, it's not necessarily the top 10 clicked here. It's just basically top 10 according to Amazon's algorithm. But take a look here. It shows how many products there's like 10 different products here. There's like 10 different products that it says had clicks. Again, brand analytics says there was only 2 different products that had clicks for this keyword. But now on this page, this other search query performance, or called search query details, is telling me that there's 10 different products that had clicks. And this is not even anywhere near the total number of clicks, because if you add up these products that it shows here, this only adds up to like, I don't know, like 30, 40% here. So it's not even showing 60% of the other products that had clicks. And it actually says, hey, in this whole keyword of spooky kitchen for the week, there were 121 clicks. Obviously, not all of those came from me. Only 17 of those clicks came from me for my product. That means that, you know, there's all these other products that had all these clicks that brand analytics just isn't even picking up. So again, for me, brand analytics used to be my favorite rock solid thing. It's still my favorite rock solid thing for search, kind of like search volume, like how to know what is searched more. But if you're really wanting to know what's going on with the number of clicks, do not rely on brand analytics, because who knows what the heck is going on there for the lower searched, you know, the lower search one. If you've got search query performance, that is absolutely the place to go to like have an idea about what's going on in the clicks. All right, so what's the takeaways from all of this? Like, you know, like what am I going to take away from this? I mean, yes, of course, I did this case study that took, you know, like 50 hours to do for this podcast episode, but it's also to help with my own business, you know, my own Amazon businesses. And so how can you guys take this information? Well, first of all, if you're trying to, you know, do keyword research for a brand new product, or you're opening up a new brand, you know, that's outside of your existing niche, you just need Helium 10. You know, I'm not trying to be a salesman here, but that's just the end of the, you know, none of this stuff I was showing you about search query performance, you have zero access to that outside of what you're already selling. So Helium 10 has access to the other data. So you definitely need Helium 10 if you're expanding. But if you're expanding with your own brand, you still need Helium 10. But I would highly, highly recommend diving into your search query performance to get all of this added information that you never had visibility on before. But at the same time, you still need a tool like Helium 10. And the reason is because this search query performance, it's showing you the top 100 or 1,000 keywords that your product is currently performing for. By definition, if there's a keyword out there that you're not even indexed for, obviously that's not even going to show up here. So it's important to do your competitor research. One thing that search query performance does not do, and it probably never will do, it's not going to show you detailed information on what your competitor is doing. You know, Amazon's not going to display that. And Helium 10 is not showing you, you know, hacked information or something, but it's showing an aggregation of public information that's out there. So it's still very important to supplement your research by using Helium 10, especially Cerebro and Keyword Tracker, to see what your competitors are doing. What keywords are they crushing it on that you're not, all right? And then once you get them in your ecosystem, now you use search query performance to kind of take a very granular, detailed look at your impressions and how many impressions you have versus their search query volume, how many add to carts you're having, what's your conversion rate like, how many purchases you have historically. It's only showing you about 20% of the data, which again, I know it sounds like a beating a dead horse here, but that's why I use Helium 10 to kind of like get the rest of that 80% of data that you need. But this 20% of sales that it's showing you exactly the funnel that people on Amazon use to make the purchase. I mean, this is gold, guys. Helium 10 never showed this data, you know, before. Amazon never showed this data before. Even to vendors, they didn't have access to this. So this is super, super cool that you guys definitely need to be using. Another thing that's important, remember, this only shows sponsored product in search query performance and organic positions. There are so many other placements on page one nowadays, from editorial recommendations to highly recommended, sponsored brand ads, sponsored video ads. Search query performance is not counting any of these impressions, any of these sales or anything. So this is still something you need to be kind of accounting for when you're doing your research. And again, if you're an elite member, you can do that inside of Helium 10 Cerebro. You can actually see for a product which products are showing up in all of these other 8 different widgets, you know, whether it's from our brands or editorial recommendations or sponsored brand video ads or sponsored brand headline ads. You can see all of that in Cerebro and kind of see what your competitors and your strategies are, where you guys are showing up, and then marry that data with what you find in search query performance, which is showing the organic side of things. So guys, we went over a lot of information in these last couple of episodes. Search volume. I hope you guys can take, this mini masterclass about search volume and be able to understand how to prioritize your products or your keywords in your products listings. We went over all of these different data points, in search query performance, etc. It might seem overwhelming the amount of data that is out there now, but guys, you cannot imagine how people in other industries that don't sell on Amazon would kill for this kind of data. Right? People are practically blind out there in other fields. They don't know what's bringing them sales. They don't know what's going on. But as Amazon sellers, we are really #blessed with this plethora of information that Amazon is providing, that Helium 10 is providing, that other tools are providing. But it's not going to do you any good if you don't get out there and use it. So I want you guys to get your own strategy. There's not like one formula of exactly how to use this information that's going to work for everybody. Get the formula that works for you. But it's important to combine the data and not get confused by it, that they might be showing different numbers and things. No, it's because they're comparing apples and oranges. So understand which data point is talking about what and which are the important ones that you need. Kind of like take away all the other noise and let's laser focus and get a strategy on how you are going to do keyword research for what you're not getting sales for, what you are getting sales for, and all of these data points that we talked about today and the last episode is going to help you get there. So I want you guys to use this a lot. If you're in the elite Facebook group, make sure to hit me up. Let me know what you thought about this and let me know if you have any questions on this. I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to be using what I learned in this case study to be optimizing my current listings, using all these new data points. And I want you guys to be doing that as well. So hope you guys found this enjoyable, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon. Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USBTO, từ thêm, từ truy Scout, lược, tích và warehouse. Xem thêm thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.